what can someone expect? So to go from 0 to 10K per month is, in my opinion, it's a completely different way of doing business than it does to go from 0 to $1 million,
Sure.
or from 50,000 a month to $1 million.
Sure.
So what can an entrepreneur expect along this journey?
I mean, part of this is determining what it is that you want. I mean, if you want to just have a $10,000 a month revenue business and profit 30% from that, and that's all that you want, you could probably do that in a few hours a week. The important thing is, how many important decisions can we make? A lot of us will spend so much time and energy before taking a damn sale. I like to say, how quickly can we make decisions, even if they're wrong decisions? Like, a wrong decision at least gives us feedback that we can correct with a different decision. Yes. Can you make decisions fast enough in order to get to the result? I've seen a lot of people who maybe get to 50K a month and then they go full time as an entrepreneur, and they think that because they've got more time that it's going to grow, and it doesn't grow because they stop making decisions. They go into defense mode rather than offense mode. Decisions are offense. Making decisions of where we're going. Making decisions of, you know what, I was wrong, and we're going to go here instead. That's a decision. And the faster you can make decisions, the less you have to work.
But one thing that I know a lot of my followers are challenged with is making decisions. So many people, they started, the Amazing Selling Machine course, and they haven't been able to pick a product because they can't make a decision. They have fear to make that decision. Do you have any advice for them on that topic?
Be okay getting it wrong. I mean, the tenseness over choosing the wrong thing is the problem. First of all, the problem is not that you will get it wrong. The problem is not that you will lose money. The problem is that you are afraid that those things will happen. They might. They might happen. Choose anyway. There's also something that happens when you realize how long this journey is. I know, I was speaking with somebody this morning. Somebody reached out to me on Instagram, and I just called them. And I was so impressed by this person because they were telling me the story about a product that had failed. They'd ordered 1,000 units. I think they spent like $6 a unit. So they were just trying to sell through it to get their money back. And I heard zero regret in her voice. And she was back at the starting line. She had chosen this product. It didn't go the way that she wanted. She was hoping to get her investment back. She's not wealthy or well off or financially free, but there wasn't a hint of regret. And I was like, I would bet on this girl. And the reason is because she knows that everything that has happened in that journey has just been her refining her skills, knowing that now she's a little bit better for the next opportunity that comes along. You have time to recover from failures. And so what you think is failure is a story in your head. So just choose. Get it wrong. People ask me how I'm so comfortable in front of the camera, and I'm just comfortable being bad at it. If something messes up, it doesn't mean anything. You just keep going. If a business tanks, lots of people have had that. It doesn't mean anything about you. It has nothing to do with you. You didn't do anything wrong. You're not too late. You're early, and you're learning. We really, as human beings, we have a hard time seeing our own progress. It's usually only seen by other people. And
so true.
And so decisions are just how we force our own progress, and we adjust later. Us evaluating our own progress is kind of a story in our head. It's our own internal judge, judging ourselves and judging the rest of the world. And it lies to you a lot of the time. This is 2 days ago. They asked me how I was doing, and I said I was happier than I've ever been. And they said, oh, everything's going really smooth for you? And I said, absolutely not. Like, nothing is going smooth. I can tell you all the things that are broken and not how I want them to be. I'm just happy anyway. And that allows me to be able to address those things without being exhausted at the end of every day. When you realize how little you need, then you can have as much as you want. because you don't have the tense scarceness of I need more, I need more, I need more, I need more, because that puts you in a take mentality of everyone that you interact with. What can I get from this person? How can I manipulate this person? How can I sell to this person? The minute you make that switch, everybody else wants a piece of that. And that's when life can get real good.
I love that. Yeah, so I think it's important to understand, learn the message sooner rather than later, that it's the delusion is that it's about the money, it's about the $1 million, but the truth is it's about who you can become in order to earn that money, and it's all about working on yourself. And we talk a lot about this, and your message was great. So I want to say thank you so much, Ryan. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Very beautiful message, and
thank
you guys for watching. If you guys like this, give us a thumbs up. Wow.
Boom.
Woo, amazing.
Thanks.
I was not expecting that.
Inside scoop. Right on. You watched me for an hour.
Yeah, no, just let me just get.
You're in the zone. Hey everyone, this is Stefan James from Project Life Mastery. I'm here right now with my good friend Ryan Moran, the founder of Capitalism.com and the Capitalism Podcast. So brother, thank you.
Thanks, man. It's good to see you again.
Yes.
It's been so cool watching you grow, man. You remember we met in a hotel
Yes.
at Tony Robbins
Yes.
in 2012, and both of us decided to go all in on our lives.
Yeah.
And we've done this.
Now here we are.
And now we're here on YouTube.
You know, Ryan, I've seen you've been on such an incredible journey, and especially since that time, because I remember during that time you're trying to figure out that direction you wanted to go, and now you've helped so many people. You've found that niche for you and what you're passionate about. So,
Well, thank you. And I know how easy it is to look at two very handsome dudes and say they haven't figured out making millions of dollars and all this. There are still days I wake up and I wonder what the hell I'm doing with my life.
Yes.
I think we all hit those points in which we are reevaluating our lives. We are reevaluating what makes us feel fulfilled. Does this relationship, does this business, does this path actually make me happy? And so I know what it's like to look at other people on the internet and think that, oh great, they hit a hard time and 6 years later they're on top of the world. But every day, I think even the most successful people wake up and go, am I on the right path? We're all figuring it out.
yeah, it's not as perfect as it seems, and that's one thing I respect about you is your transparency and your vulnerability with that. Because entrepreneurship is not easy, and we want to talk a little bit about the mindset of it too, and share some things that can help you guys. But one thing that we're both in agreement with in terms of building a successful business, especially online today, is building an audience. And I know that's one thing that you talk a lot about. So you mind sharing just a little bit about that? It's one thing that a lot of people don't want to do, but it's one of the most important things. And there's a mindset that can help people.
Yeah. So let's frame this. So I help entrepreneurs get to $1 million, pass $1 million, sometimes get past 10 million, exit for millions of dollars. Yay, big numbers. Everybody wants the $1 million, and they want the fast lane to $1 million. I've kind of become a little bit famous for breaking that into 3 stages. And those 3 stages are what I call the grind, which is figuring out what the heck you're doing, grinding for every follower, every sale, figuring out what your product is going to be. It's making decisions as fast as possible. And if you're thinking about those decisions, you can get through that stage in about 3 months. Have a product in the market, taking sales. Stage 2 is getting that product to sell 25 sales a day and releasing product number 2. And the next 6 months, months 6 to 12, are all about releasing additional products and turning on advertising so that you have 4 products selling 25 sales a day, which is 100 sales a day, at an average price point of $30, which is a $1 million business. Now, caveat, there's a way to do it faster. And most people don't want to do the work of going faster, but if they do it, it makes things happen way faster. And that is to build an audience. You do not have to have a camera in your face all of the time. You do not have to have millions of followers on Instagram. You need a few hundred people who care about what you have to say in order to start taking sales predictably for a product that you can scale. And if you put in the hard work there at the beginning, starting at 0, which is where everybody started. But did you start at 0, Stefan?
Of course.
Did anyone give you 500,000 YouTube subscribers?
No. I started the grind of putting out content and having nobody care, except maybe my friends and family, but mostly because they're curious to see what I was doing.
Yeah, and it stays that way for way longer than you think.
Right.
Way longer than you want.
Yes.
And then one day it doesn't. One day it grows faster. So that's the fast lane to $1 million.
Yeah.
Be willing to suck
Yeah.
for longer than everybody else.
It's delaying the short-term gratification for the long-term gain.
It took me a long time to realize that the pursuit of money was an amplifier to whatever life that I wanted. And I had this belief that if I made the money, then I could go address the other areas of my life. And I found that that was true. But I found that when I had the money, I had neglected all the other areas of my life so much that the money just scaled more unhappiness. That it amplified all the other broken areas of my life. Money is like alcohol. If you give alcohol to a generous person, they start giving things away. You give alcohol to an angry person, you better leave the house. Money is exactly the same way. And I wish someone had told me that the only thing that changed at the other end of being rich was that the money in the bank account changed. Now, everything else can change, like the house can change, but you're still living in here. And that is body, that is mind, that is spirit, that is relationships. Every time I'm going through a hard time, specifically in business, sometimes life has to kick me around for a bit in order for me to get a lesson. And I always go back to my business grows when I really dial in my relationships, my mindset, my body, my habits. And then business gets real easy because I don't expect business to fix all of the other problems in my life. I expect business to be an amplifier of my life and a way for me to serve other people because my cup is so full, I'm so good that I can now serve and money just shows up. Money is the product of good work. People spend money on other people's good work. Naval Ravikant says it's like an IOU from the past. It's like you did good work in the past, so we're going to give you an IOU for something that you want to do in the future. Man, I wish somebody had told me that 10 years ago. Because instead, we think about money as this pile sitting over here that we have to get, and there's all these obstacles that are in our way that are preventing us from getting the money. But it's the amplifier of good work. And you can only really do good work when you are really, really good in all the other areas of life. That's how you serve other people.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that. So, brother, I want to thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I know I could talk to you forever, but we'll have to do this again. Great. Oh, man.
God damn.
Gone so much
That was good.
deeper.
That felt like 10
You were
minutes.
in a different dimension.
What I'm really happy with right now in my life is that I am starting to redefine the message and the way that I serve entrepreneurs, because I have learned that this is an inside-out game. I have learned that this is all about who you become, and it's my job to help entrepreneurs along that journey. And it's been a lot easier for me to just get in the flow of things. And so those were a couple really, really fun interviews.
It seemed like Stefan noticed a change in you from who you used to be. So what do you think he's picking up on, or how are you refining the message to entrepreneurs?
I think what I'm tapping into is just a more genuine, humble perspective. I don't care what I get anymore. That's a lie. I care a little, but a lot less.
That's good. That's good. There's the real honesty.